Hi everybody! Do you like taking refreshing naps? Is dancing enjoyable to you? Are you tired to perform massive conquests and to race against time with massive Anbennar mission trees? Well then, let me draw your attention to Noruin for a bit and let's take a look at the little Dreamtime tribe of Tehanek. The most common crops among the tribes of the Boek are those of the three sisters: squash, corn, and beans. Using corn harvested from their fields, Tehanek made what is known as fire corn. Throwing corn into a fire, it would cause the kernels to quickly dry and pop off the cob and out of the fire, where it must be caught and finally eaten. Fire corn proved very popular with the Noruin settlers, who brought many ingredients that could be added, and they were keen to trade these with our people, in exchange for knowledge on how to make fire corn and other foods made from three sister crops. North of the ruined sea, Noruin is a land thoroughly devastated in the day of the ashen skies. These lands are strangled between the ruined sea and extremely tall cliffs that mark the edges of the cataclysmic event. A few primitive tribes survived, rediscovered, and timidly resettled the desolate Noruin. They eke out a living, having lost all of the knowledge of the precursor empire and survive as people did at the dawn of time. The region is split into three. To the west lie the Blood Groves, where the Ruinborn sacrifice their own to the blood-feeder zombies that haunt the forests of weeping trees as the price of their ongoing survival. In the south, the jungles of the Reaper's Coast are watched by the death cultists of Cheshoshoanta, who perform grisly sacrifices to their cruel god as a twisted remembrance of the Day of Ashen Skies and its destructive power. Between the two lies the Trolls Bay, where the Boek people roam and herd their cattle. These ones have a strong Native American vibe. The Yan tribe survives in tree houses on the edges of the Blood Groves. The In tribe controls the great Yin River waterfall and is blessed by a steady stream of riches and sarcophagi that spill together with the blessed waters into their lands. The Bow Federation of warrior tribes sharpen their courage and wits against the followers of Cheshosh. The tribe of Jay tries to make as few waves as possible while surviving on the islands that surround the Great Trolls Bay. And finally we arrive at Tehanek, the tribe that turns dreams into reality. The braves of the tribes are known for their courage and ferocity, and many within the Boek tribes train from a young age, aspiring to be a brave when they grow. The braves of Tehanek have a grace and endurance to them not seen in other tribes, evidenced by the war dance ritual. During the winter months, all the braves of our tribe must gather around the great fire, lit by our chief, and made of the same trees used to make our totems. Our braves then compete to see who can dance for the longest in order to prove themselves. Competition can be extremely fierce, with some braves dancing for hours without taking a break. The Ruinborn are a twisted form of elves that is the result of the cataclysm that ended the precursor empire. The few pre-Ashen elves that still survive are the ones that were out at sea. Everyone else in Elentir has devolved into the Ruinborn in various forms, some more grotesque than others, with lifespans similar to humans. Mechanically, the Ruinborn administration has some slightly slower relation improvement and institution spread, but in exchange they receive a 20% bonus to domestic trade power, as well as a 5% administrative efficiency bonus. The administrative efficiency bonus is more than welcome, as the Ruinborn usually control a very little amount of land, so it makes expansion slightly easier. The military is similarly decent, with some naval penalties to sailor and morale, but 10% extra shock damage and 30% less land attrition, which will save a lot of manpower while maneuvering and sieging. The primary Ruinborn population grants 10% cheaper construction cost, 20% extra supply limit, and some monthly devastation reduction. Within the Boek tribes, there are a scarce few who are born with a unique ability to see and shape the world to their wishes. They are known as world shapers. Whilst these individuals are born into the other tribes as well, they are infrequent, with the exclusion of the Tehan tribe, where they organize into a council along with other shamans who advise our ruler on all things, ensuring our prosperity. The government of Tehanek is tribal. They have no fancy mechanics, no federations or anything like that. They only have access to tribal buildings instead of the regular ones. They gather tribal development, which is the only useful information in the Federation screen. They may migrate from province to province for the price of military mana. They may add provinces to their tribal land and settle said tribal land with tribal development. At tier 4, The trading with foreigners reform will catch you up with technologies and acquire all institutions from a nearby non-tribal nation. So, from the colonizers and Elentier spawnables. This seems easier to do in Anbennar, as the spawnables land with full cores that are easy to border with your tribal land. If you saved your government reform points and have tribal land bordering the Canorians, you can immediately settle those and reform the tribe. Just watch out that in the case of the spawnables, it takes a few weeks before they actually adopt the current institutions, so don't just rush to the trading with foreigners button too fast. There is also no incentive to invest in administrative and diplomatic technology before the arrival of the Canorians, but do not neglect your military, as that can be the difference between survival and extinction. The Holdilla, or Dance of Dreams, is a common practice amongst the shamans of the Boek. Through a combination of herbs mixed into water and inhaled, our shamans are able to enter a state disconnected from their body and freely travel through the truths of our realm. A varied combination of herbs can allow for a stronger dance, allowing deeper insights, although this comes at a great risk to the shaman's health. The religion of the Boek people is Dobondotism, essentially totemism, but it uses the Judaism mechanics from the vanilla EU4. The main idea is that each Boek Ruinborn has a bond of kinship with a creature known as a totem or dotim, usually a spirit or an animal. Totems are carved from wood or stone and are gathered together in buildings known as dotim webs. Some of these totems are magically charged, and those are known as Dobondotims. The main collection of Dobondotims is the Dobondotim web structure, on top of a major precursor ruin in the province of Boek Tarau. The Dobondotim web is a monument that can be upgraded for some tolerance benefits to the controlling reformed totemist nation, which is Q. Mechanically, the religion gathers faith power in time, proportional with the nation's leader traits, and can be enhanced further by some other modifiers. 100 faith power can be spent on activating a totem in one of three categories: administrative, diplomatic, and military. At start, there are 3 totems available for each slot. Only one can be active at a time per slot, but each one can be replaced for the additional cost of 100 faith power. If all 3 totem slots are activated, a ritual festival may be celebrated for the cost of 200 faith power. Holdilla, the Dance of Dreams festival, will reward a small bonus which is dependent on the administrative totem currently active. Simple, right? Well, there's more than meets the eye here. Each Dobondotist nation has 6 missions available on the left side of the mission tree. These missions are a clue for the puzzle which is central to this religion. If certain totems are combined, the festivals will unlock permanent access to some additional totems. There are 6 of these secret totems, and the combinations required to access them are hinted in the mission descriptions. Tehanek itself has a few additional totems that can be unlocked through their unique mission tree. Of course, that the hidden totems are slightly more powerful than the starting ones, and the religion missions will allow you to gather more faith power and government reforms to better prepare you for the incoming Canorians. An active way to gather faith power is to capture totems from an enemy totemist tribe. Once the capital of a different totemist nation is captured, a flat amount of faith power is immediately looted, and the passive faith power generation bonus is also applied for a short while. So looting totems is quite important for completing the faith puzzle in a timely fashion. While there are many tales of Holdilla and the oddities encountered on such quests, none can be compared to that of Eleil. Using a rare purple grass that only grows on the eastern banks near the lands of the Tehanek, Eleil brewed a concoction he hoped would reveal to him the greatest secret of the world and embarked upon a Holdilla. Eleil spoke of his journey after his return, claiming to have visited a realm far beyond our own, where he saw a being named the Color of Space. He gave no explanation as to where this name came from or what it meant. Over the following months, Eleil became increasingly obsessed with a color similar to that of the grass he had used for his dance, painting anything he could find, his hut, his clothes, even his own skin, claiming it gave him deeper insights on this quest, a practice that spread to other shamans in our tribe, and it's maintained to this day. Now, I don't shy away from spoilers in general, but if you don't want spoilers to the religion puzzles, I urge you to jump forward to the next section. Because here is an example of the combination to unlock the dream of the world above. The mission states, a beast with a fiery core brought the gift of life by a kindly parent to defend the secrets of the skies. The first clue is the fiery core, which is represented by the Heart of Flame totem in the military section. The second clue is the kindly parent, represented by the Grandmother Sky administrative totem. To defend the secrets of the skies, which hints at the Heaven's Bounty totem in the diplomatic section. With all three in place, the festival will unlock the Dream of the World Above mission and the Winged Beast administrative totem. I will now show on the screen all 6 totem combinations for a few moments, so here they are. If there are more secret combinations, I don't know. There very well could be or not, but as a baseline, these 6 are the ones that you need. The shamans of Tehanek are well known for their persuasion, often being able to sway Norian diplomats to agreeing to terms that would otherwise seem disagreeable. The greatest example of this was the deal struck with Andrel, a diplomat from Chestermark, sent to our tribe to serve what amounted to an eviction notice. After spending several hours in the shaman's hut, Andrel emerged somewhat dazed and informed his entourage of the bargain he had struck. Chestermark would recognize the Tehanek claim to a vast region of Troll's Bay, and in exchange, Chestermark would be granted a wooden flute. Upon his return, Andrel was promptly fired. Tehanek ideas are a mixed bag. They have some serious mana saving in their ideas, represented by stability cost reduction, idea cost reduction, core creation cost reduction, and arguably advisor cost reduction as well. These are coupled with some military buffs in the form of movement speed, infantry shock, which combines nicely with the Ruinborn military bonus, and some extra attrition for enemies. +2 possible advisors makes it easier to choose an advisor that works for whatever you choose to do, and there is some trade efficiency for a slightly higher income, while a +1 diplomatic relations slot concludes the idea set. Before the arrival of the sea demons, we were one of the most peaceful tribes of the Boek, content to study the world and coexist with the other tribes. Our braves rarely saw battle, but once we heard news of the sea demons and their attempt to exterminate the Boek, something awoke in a select few of our braves. They gained great powers, similar to those possessed by our shamans, but focused on destruction, fueled by the fury of our fallen ancestors. These braves came to be known as the Heaven's Fury, and thanks to their great prowess, we were, with the assistance of our tribes from across the seas, able to push the demons out of our lands and back to the very sea that spawned them. The Tehanek mission tree is fairly modest, which is a welcome change after having to deal with the immense challenges of monster mission trees scattered across the universe of Anbennar. The branches concern themselves with gaining knowledge from dreams, which eventually end up granting a large bonus to passive faith power gain. Through harvesting dreams, the Tehanek unearth a cache of precursor relics in the capital, which is fairly strong. The middle branch focuses on relationship with the other Boek tribes, ranging from dealing with a rival tree-dwelling Yannick to making peace and improving relations with the other tribes. Finally, after reforming the tribal government, Tehanek will unlock a unique Tier 1 theocratic government reform. The Council of Mage Shamans is a government with severely decreased artifice capacity, but it grants more possible advisors and a 5% power cost reduction, together with a trickle of passive power gain. This government also guarantees powerful mage rulers, which is extremely nice. The right side of the mission tree concerns itself with the foreigners that land in Noruin. They allow for a decently fast technological catch-up, settling border disputes, and eventually preparing for conflict and recruiting the great warrior Heweritarro, leader of the Braves infused with the power of the Winged Beast to fight the Canorians. He dropped down from the trees and inspected the campsite. The campfire was still warm. They'd been here not long ago, less than a few hours. He looked around for tracks. They weren't hard to find. They were headed north towards the tribe, and judging by the stench of gunpowder left in the campsite, they didn't have peaceful intentions. He caught up with them but a few hours later. Just as he suspected, a party of 20 of them, armed to the teeth, headed straight towards Tehanek. They'd reached the tribe before sundown at this pace. Of course, they'd not maintain this pace for much longer, or any pace for that matter. he silently dropped from the trees, simultaneously throwing a tomahawk at the nearest soldier and using his magic to ensnare another. The Canorians were easily panicked. Unsure where he was lurking, they fired their muskets aimlessly into the bushes. It was all over in a matter of minutes. All 20 of them slain. All 20 of them victims of the Red Eagle. Victims of the Heweritaru. A conflict does arise within the tribe between the Red Eagles, who are linked to the Winged Beast totems, and the Mage Shaman Council. After a rebellion of the Braves and their subsequent defeat, the aspect is permanently lost. But this paves the way for the final mission. The aspect of knowledge requires a ruler with legendary proficiency in divination. I tried and failed to achieve lichdom and take the time to study divination, but eventually, focusing on learning, the final mission was achieved and the gates of the mind opened in the Tehanek tribal chief. This unlocks the final totem, the Primordial Wings, which grants +1 administrative power gain monthly and allows some extra power points to be gained through religious festivals. The aspect of knowledge does have the unfortunate cost of it eventually turning the Mage Shaman chieftain into a gibbering husk who must be retired due to his mind being completely severed from the reality known to mortals. Playing Tehanek was a pleasurable experience. Playing in Noruin with all the dangers of being a primitive tribe, waiting to be subjugated by swarms of Canorians in the 16th century is not as dire as playing New World primitives in vanilla. Their totem stacking religion puzzle was very intriguing and fun, having to plot an optimal way to unlock new aspects while aiming to efficiently go through the mission tree. I think this was the biggest draw of the campaign for me. There are not too many fancy mechanics, but having an unlimited amount of powerful mage leaders makes the Little Boek tribe very strong mid to late game. Settling the former lands of Inek will also yield a lot of money due to the fact that the warrior tribes of the Ian Valley keep sending their dead together with their valuables down the river and into the Trolls Bay where they can be intercepted. As you are relatively free to play however you want with them, I chose to complete the ruined circle by colonizing and conquering all the lands within it and hold no other cores. My aim was really just painting a circle. It's not very well reflected in the timeline, but I did it and I was very happy about this achievement. This is it for today. I would like to thank my Patreons again in reverse alphabetical order. So thank you Michael VR, thank you Darth Mozart, thank you Dan Lambert, thank you Casimir Overell, and thank you very much Baconomics. Stay healthy and enjoy your fire corn. See you next time.